it's our first full-length record, so I think it's a big deal for us to be able to do it, and I feel like we did it right. It sounds really good. We worked really hard on it. I'm proud of the songs, so hopefully this will be the starting place for other projects down the road and building more of a fan base than we already have. So. I chose Archer Avenue Studio and Eric in particular because we had done our first EP with Eric. And really, for both projects, there hasn't been like a set band. And Eric's really good, I think, at working with songwriters and developing them and helping them get their songs as polished as they can be for a project. I think he and I work really well together. He's also, ever since the first EP, he's been playing with the band live, so I think he knows me well and what I wanted out of the project. And so it suited me well to work with him and at Archer Avenue Studio. At the end of the day, I play music because I love it, and there's not really a better reason to do something than that, I don't think. As far as what people get out of my music, I hope that they find enjoyment listening to it, and that it, there's a lot of records I just love throwing on in the car or whatever, and they're just fun to listen to and sing along with, and I guess I would hope that for someone else and for my music. So I feel like as a songwriter that I have a better understanding of how to write, for my vocal range, a better understanding of just how to write songs in general. And songwriting is about communication, so I think I've developed that skill a lot more. Like, I know how to communicate what it is I'm trying to, I think, to an audience much better after that year of really working on those songs for this record. I think Eric is best described for me as like, my main sounding board for all my songs. Like, I take them to him, and he really helps me be a little more objective about them than I might be on my own, and I trust him to tell me when things suck or aren't good enough or are worth working on or aren't. It's awesome, man. I think that's what everybody needs. I think that's why there's a lot of bad music out there, is because people... That was I guess I'm trying to say, that was the biggest turning point for me, not necessarily with Eric, but just with myself, when I started to realize, like, maybe everything I do isn't good. And when you can figure that out as a writer, then you don't sweat it. You're like, well, that song's not good, and I'm gonna move on to the next one. And it's even if it wasn't good, you can always learn from your mistakes. And I think that a lot of probably young songwriters or people that view themselves as overly artistic or whatever never reach that point. But like I said earlier, the goal of songwriting is communicating, and if what you're doing isn't communicating what you're trying to, then you need to do something else. And so I think it's great when Eric tells me things like, that melody line needs some more work. One, I would say listen to pop music, find some favorite writers. Like, for me, one of my favorite writers is Sting, especially when he was with the Police. Peter Gabriel, Tom Petty is probably right in that group, if not my favorite songwriter. So just find guys that you really like and admire, and try to figure out what it is they're doing. The other thing, I think, is realize that it's work. Like, you can look for that inspiration, but I feel like at the end of the day, the inspiration, if it comes and you're not sitting there already writing, then you might miss it. And I think, for me, setting aside regular time to write really helped me